Roger King.
The first question to a great new Prime Minister, sir.
Sit down, please.
Now, wait a while. Mr. Speaker, this morning I presided at a meeting of the Cabinet and had meetings with ministerial colleagues and others. In addition to my duties in this House, I shall be having further meetings later today. This evening, I shall be attending a long-standing engagement in the constituency of my honourable friend for Altrincham and Sale.
Mr. Roger King.
Mr. Speaker, may I preface my question by offering on behalf of...
I think it would be more helpful if we encompassed it.
Mr. Speaker, in congratulating my right honourable friend on his becoming Prime Minister, may I assure him of our total and united support of his and in every constituency in the country. Mr. Speaker, may I draw my right honourable friend's attention to the latest round of National Health Service cuts in the South Birmingham area. Cuts of 17% in the last 15 months on those awaiting an operation, making 26% in the last 5 years. Would my right honourable friend ensure that the National Health Service goes on making these kind of cuts?
Mr. Speaker, that is certainly the intention of our reforms, of our management and of our financing of the National Health Service. I congratulate the South Birmingham Health Authority. It has, I know, made good use of the extra resources it had last year. I expect it to continue to do so in the future.
Mr. Neil Kinnock.
Mr. Speaker.
Order. Well, I'm anxious to call as many honourable members as possible.
Mr. Speaker, may I offer my personal congratulations to the Right Honourable Gentleman on becoming Prime Minister. Since the Right Honourable Gentleman says he was bounced into the poll tax, is he now going to abolish it?
I'm grateful to the Right Honourable Gentleman for his welcome to the dispatch box. I look forward to our discussions over the forthcoming years. Insofar as the community charge is concerned, I've made it perfectly clear what the position will be. We have decided that we will look again. We have decided that we will look again and see what further refinements may be necessary to the community charge. What refinements may be necessary to ensure that the community charge is accepted throughout the country.
Mr. Speaker, can I offer some help to the Right Honourable Gentleman by suggesting... Oh, it's well intended, very well intended. By suggesting that he could save himself a great deal of time and trouble and the British people a great deal of money by accepting Labour Party policy and abolishing the poll tax now.
My right honourable friend, the Secretary of State for the Environment, will be taking forward a very thorough, very constructive and fundamental review of the community charge. And in doing so, he will take account of the points made by my honourable friends, both north and south of the Scottish border, before we reach conclusions. On this side of the House, we believe in examining matters before reaching conclusions.
Mr. Speaker, everybody knows, including, I suspect, the Right Honourable Gentleman, there is only one fundamental, efficient and fair thing to do with the poll tax, and that's scrap it.
The Right Honourable Gentleman forgets the alternative that he himself has decided to move back to. Was it not the Right Honourable Gentleman who said himself in 1980, the most unjust of all taxes, local rates, which take most from those who afford least?
Patrick Thompson.
Number 2, sir.
Number 2.
I refer my honourable friend to the reply that I gave some moments ago.
Mr. Patrick Thompson.
Mr. Speaker, will my right honourable friend accept the very special congratulations and welcome which he will receive from the East Anglian members of Parliament and their constituents, particularly as my right honourable friend is an East Anglian member of Parliament representing Huntingdon. And will my right honourable friend confirm that he will shortly be meeting President Bush to discuss the Gulf and other matters of common concern so as to continue the government's correct policy on these issues?
I can certainly confirm that to my honourable friend. The date has not yet been fixed, but I certainly hope it will be this side of Christmas.
Mr. Penny Ashton.
Speaker, may I congratulate the right honourable gentleman on his appointment as Britain's Prime Minister. The whole nation will wish him success in the difficult task ahead. May I ask him this question? May I? Yes, for the sake of the nation, we do wish him success in the task ahead. Mr. Speaker, may I ask him this question? If in 2 weeks' time, at the Intergovernmental Conference, all 11 of our European partners say they can accept his hard ECU proposal on the provision that he will accept that could be used as a transition mechanism towards a single currency, perhaps by the end of the decade, will he agree?
I'm grateful to the right honourable gentleman for his generous welcome, which I very much appreciate. I think in the Intergovernmental Conference there will be a wide range of matters to be discussed. I think we need to discuss those with very great care before we proceed. The government's position about the imposition of a single currency is quite clear. It is not acceptable.
Mrs. Elizabeth Peacock.
Does my right honourable friend agree that after the recent turmoil and his now uniting of the party, that his objective of a classless society in the future will be better served by his government, a conservative government led by him, rather than the socialism offered by the party opposite?
I'm happy to agree entirely with my honourable friend about that. We do need to continue to build upon what has been done in the last 11 years to make this an open society of opportunity. That my government proposes to do.
Mrs. Ewing.
Mr. Speaker, given that the Prime Minister has, in his recent meteoric rise, shown great dignity and pride in his own humble origins, can he tell the House what priority he will now give to the problem of homelessness which he has inherited from his predecessor? And in particular, will he look at the issue of cardboard cities, the people who live in damp homes, and the people who have no hope of a roof over their heads?
Everyone in this country, in my view, is entitled to dignity and pride, and the policies of this government will be to endeavour to ensure that they are able to obtain it.
Mr. Anthony Coombs.
Number 3, sir.
I refer my honourable friend to the reply I gave some moments ago.
Mr. Coombs.
I too welcome the Prime Minister in the dispatch box. Given the record rate of growth in the economy over the last 10 years, and as the Chancellor, who relieved 6 million non-taxpayers of the need to pay tax on their savings at source, would my right honourable friend agree that the next decade of opportunity crucially depends upon further tax reductions and further savings incentives of exactly the kind that have so reinvigorated this country over the last 10 years?
Mr. Speaker, I can assure my honourable friend that I certainly favour further tax reductions when they are affordable and when it is prudent to do so. Insofar as savings are concerned, I'm extremely keen to see the growth of savings, and for two reasons. Firstly, to provide the base from which the investment we need in the 1990s will come, and secondly, for the security and independence that savings give to the individual and his family.
Mr. Blunkett.
Would the Prime Minister accept that earlier this week his former boss, the member for Blaby, described the poll tax as unworkable and politically catastrophic, whereas his predecessor as the Prime Minister described us as having already had a fundamental review? Which of those two conflicting opposites has he advised the new Secretary of State to adopt in the new fundamental review of the poll tax he's mentioned this afternoon?
My right honourable friend, the member for Finchley, has made it entirely clear on a number of occasions at this dispatch box that when any new charge of this sort was introduced, it would need to be kept under review. That is what we are doing.
Mr. Shrewsbury.
Will my right honourable friend, at the commencement of his administration declare its continuing support for the police in their difficult task of maintaining law and order.
Mr. Speaker, I think I believe the police do a magnificent job in this country, often in difficult circumstances. I have no hesitation whatsoever in saying to my honourable friend that I have the greatest admiration for the way they behave.
To Terry Patchett. Number 4, sir.
I refer the honourable gentleman to the reply I gave some moments ago.
Mr. Patchett.
Mr. Speaker, if the Prime Minister is his own man, as he has stated, in what way will his policies differ from his predecessors?
Yeah.
I am my own man, and on that basis, I see no need to beat my chest and tell the honourable gentleman, let him wait and see what we do.
Maureen Hicks.
Number 5, sir.
Maureen Hicks.
I refer my honourable friend to the reply I made some moments ago.
Ms. Hicks.
In warmly welcoming my honourable friend, my right honourable friend as Prime Minister, would he like to take some advice from a female colleague on inner cities? Would he not agree that in order to achieve his aim of a classless Britain, which is highly commendable, that the government needs to give the highest priority to inner cities? And would he afford me the honour and opportunity as soon as possible of coming to Wolverhampton so I may demonstrate our successes and also illustrate the constraints of municipal socialism which continue to deny choice and opportunity?
Mr. Speaker, I find that an irresistible invitation from my honourable friend. I am myself familiar with the problems of the inner cities. I regard them as a matter of very great importance, and I have no doubt my right honourable friend, the Secretary of State for the Environment, will bend his formidable energies to that problem.
In the Prime Minister's desire for a classless society and for social mobility, can he tell the House why there's no woman in his cabinet? Or is the only woman in his cabinet the backseat driver?
I would say to the honourable gentleman, in recent years, in all aspects of life in this country, women have been taking a higher profile. In the law, oh yes, in the law, in commerce, in the civil service, in industry, and in politics. And that will continue. And as those women would wish it to be, they will reach the top on merit. And if the honourable gentleman,
Order!
And if the honourable gentleman,
Order!
Oh yes. And if the honourable gentleman is patient, he will find women aplenty in my government in top positions. If he had waited a while, perhaps even to the end of today, he may not have asked that question.
Mr. Christopher Gill!
Mr. Speaker.
Question number 6.
Question number 6.
Number 6, please.
I refer my honourable friend to the reply I gave some moments ago.
Gill.
Mr. Speaker, in endorsing the congratulations made by my West Midland colleagues, my right honourable friend will know of the tremendous support which exists for him in the West Midlands. Would my right honourable friend, when he visits the Ludlow constituency in July next year, take time to visit the Lady Forrester Hospital in Much Wenlock, where Mrs. Major was born, where he will find local people working hard to take over the management of their local hospital for the benefit of the local community.
Mr. Speaker, I'm certainly looking forward to visiting Much Wenlock. It's certainly true that my wife was born at that hospital. I have a good reason, therefore, to look forward to visiting it.
Mr. Giles Radice.
before they close.
May I congratulate, as a member of the Treasury and Civil Service Select Committee, may I congratulate the right honourable gentleman on becoming Prime Minister. Now he's Prime Minister, is he in a position to tell the House whether or not the British economy is in recession?
Yeah. As I have said to the honourable gentleman in the past, if he takes the classic definition of recession, it is never possible to determine that until after the figures are available. But as I have told the House, oh yes, as I have told the House on more than one occasion, I do expect a small downturn in output for a brief period, but we will be back in a growth pattern during the passage of next year and with inflation well down.